This podcast is brought to you by absolutely no one. We have no sponsors and no one cares. Hey guys, and welcome back to a Movie Mates podcast. It's been a while since we recorded one, actually, hasn't it?
It has been quite a while,
It's been quite a while.
We pre-recorded a couple of the other ones.
We did just a few news roundup just before we begin.
Sure. We peaked our subscriber count at 19, and it went down to 18.
Who was it?
Matthew. We hope to recoup that sometime soon, but we would like to thank every new and recent subscriber, and we welcome any new viewers.
Yep. Today we're going to be discussing the Toy Story trilogy.
Well, not trilogy.
Trilogy.
The first three films.
Yeah, first three.
Yeah.
Our mini review for Toy Story 4 will be coming up. It will
have been posted yesterday,
yes.
Hopefully.
We're just recording this one first. So, what does the Toy Story, the first three films, what do they mean to you? Like, did you watch them when you were growing up? Or?
Yes, absolutely. They were a big part of my childhood, actually.
Me too.
I think my dad was a big fan of them. He's a big fan of 2 especially.
They definitely are movies that adults can enjoy, I find, as well. Like,
Yeah,
kids' movies are quite dynamic in that way.
Yeah, there's quite a few jokes just for the adults, and
Yeah,
we'll talk about specific ones. But yeah, were they a big part of your childhood?
Big part of my childhood, yeah. Obviously, Toy Story 1 came out 1999, so
Nope.
it was... Wasn't it?
95.
Was it 95?
Yeah.
Oh, Toy Story 2 was 99?
Yes.
Sorry, yes. I actually didn't realise there was the big time jump between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3.
Yeah, I didn't realise that until I looked it up.
So essentially Toy Story 3 was like... I was going to say
It
a soft
was a-
reboot.
It was 11 years after.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were a lot of introductions of new characters, and we'll obviously get
And a
onto
time
that.
jump in the film, actually, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I love these films and always will, because they're staples for classic Disney animation, really. From the late 90s until now, 2019, with, Toy Story 4, they really are been really consistently good and visually stunning as well.
Yeah. I'm not even confident that I watched them in order. I may have seen Toy Story 3 first.
Yeah, I think so. Me as well.
Yeah, I feel bad scrutinizing these films, but that's what we're here to do, so we will.
The
But,
critics
I
of
mean,
us.
they are, of course anyone can enjoy them, but they are made for kids, so I do feel bad, kind of ripping them apart.
Yeah.
I mean, we
get
won't do that because we enjoy all 3 of them, right?
Yeah, well, most of my notes are, I'd say 90% are positive, and then
Yeah, I
10%
would say
are
so.
like things that I, looking back, can make fun of, but
Yeah.
not necessarily bad.
Mine's more questions
Okay.
that I have for you.
Well, do you want to
Um,
kick us off with Toy Story 1?
So, we're going spoilers for this, so that's the usual Movie Mates rule.
Yeah.
So, if you don't want to hear any of this, turn off, watch them and come back.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
we will appreciate having your viewership once again. So, Toy Story 1 was released in 1995, and it was directed by John Lasseter. My first point is the animation. I've seen that you also wondered, does it hold up?
I don't think it does, compared to Toy Story 4, which is like, it looks real in some instances. Like, some
Wait,
wide shots look
yeah.
fantastic.
If you haven't watched our review for Toy Story 4, check it out as
Check
soon
it out.
as you're finished with this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly was great for its time,
Yes.
but I don't think it's aged as well as Toy Story 2. And I know Toy Story 2 did come out 4 years later, but that's just my opinion.
I think for 1995 it's stunning though.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
I mean, it doesn't live up to modern Pixar, but I think it's spectacular for the time.
Mhm.
It's remarkably short. It's an hour and 15 minutes long.
Is that only how long it is?
Yeah.
It does feel quite short. Like I watched it recently and it felt quite short, but back when I was like 10, it didn't feel that short.
No, because, I mean, these days I find it hard for a movie to grab my attention and keep my attention for the duration, but this one succeeded.
Oh yeah.
But I think that was perhaps because it was such a short
Does
amount
it
of
feel
time.
rushed to you?
It does kind of when Buzz and Woody are kind of meant to go from mortal enemies to best friends by the end. It does feel slightly rushed in some
Yeah.
capacity. Music, I know you wanted to talk about.
You Got a Friend in Me.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
It opens the film as well, and I think that was the perfect opening.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have done better to open that film.
No, absolutely not. It's a fantastic song.
Of course, right at the start of the film, we see the toys come alive.
Mhm.
I think that would have been a spectacular twist ending if the whole time the film was from Andy's perspective and then the toys wake up at the end.
As in, yeah.
Like, if you just see, like, the toys moving and it's meant to be sort of supernatural or, oh, it's probably his
Yeah,
sister
that'd be
or
cool.
something, and then they just come alive at the end. That would have been amazing.
That is actually what's always bugged me, that the humans never realize within like 10 seconds the toys being in one place and then being in another place, or being in one position
Yes.
and being in another position. Like, that's one criticism I had for Toy Story 4. Like,
Yeah.
there are so many times that character, like, the toys move and then freeze, and the character the adult should know.
Yeah.
You know? But I can look past it just because the casting of Tom Hanks as Woody and Tim Allen as Buzz.
Yes.
Yes, fantastic.
They
Fantastic
are
voice
both
work.
fantastic. See, I could never picture anyone else as either of those characters, but I found this out the other day when I was on the Wikipedia, that both Chevy Chase and Billy Crystal were offered the role of Buzz.
I can
And
see
that-
Billy Crystal as Buzz.
I can maybe see Billy Crystal, but Chevy Chase not so much. Billy Crystal said that he actually regretted not taking the role.
Yeah,
But
he later went. Was Monsters Inc. was after that, right?
yes, it was after Toy Story. I believe it was 2002 or 2003. But yeah, I think they're both perfectly cast.
Absolutely.
I was just wondering your thoughts on the Bo Peep romance. Do you think her and Woody seem well suited? She's kind of a nothing character in the first two films.
Yeah, I mean, I like the subversion in the later films that Jessie was sort of not made out of Buzz, but made for Buzz. You know, like she's like a cowgirl and Woody's a cowboy. You know, there's
You
sort
said Buzz, but
of, no, that's what I mean. As
Oh.
in the subversion that she doesn't actually end up with Woody. She ends up
oh
with
yes,
Buzz.
because she's like the female counterpart
Yes,
of Woody.
yes, that's
but
what I mean, yeah.
yes, yeah.
But Bo Peep, I think she adds levity to the film. I quite like her.
I like the romance element, but I enjoy in Toy Story 4 you see her
Is it
as
same
more
voice
of a
actor?
character. Yeah, it's Annie Potts for all the films. I was just wondering, how does this universe work? Because Buzz isn't briefed that he's a toy, so how were all the other toys?
Yeah, because did Woody one day decide he's not going to be a sheriff? You know?
Yeah, like
it's weird.
when he was taken out of his box, did he think that he was Woody the sheriff?
This is actually a perfect opportunity to bring something to light that I was thinking of. Like, if toys aren't played with, do they
Yeah.
die? Like, do they just is it the fact that a child's like love and spirit for them keeps them alive, and if they don't play with them, they just lose their like spirit in a way? Do they die if they're not played with?
I don't think so. I think that they have to be physically destroyed. But also, what constitutes a toy? Because, like, board games aren't alive, but, like, an Etch-a-Sketch is.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't understand, like, where they draw the line.
I get that it's children's animation, and you know they're supposed to be.
I mean, we
probably not
shouldn't be
supposed
so
to
picky,
No,
but,
no,
you
but,
know,
it's just
this is
an
a
interest-
review
it's an
channel.
yeah,
Like, you know.
It's just an interesting question because this is the same universe as Up and films like that. And
Yes.
I didn't know whether it's a good question. Like, was Woody originally a sheriff's toy? And if not, if so, like it's brought up in Toy Story 4. This is a very minor spoiler that it was made in the late 50s.
Yes.
So does that mean Woody's been around for 40 years and
Yes.
Andy was his first toy? So Andy
How
would
is
have,
that possible?
It can't, because Andy would have had to buy him at an antique store.
See, actually, I think I know how to answer that.
Okay.
Because I think that they mentioned this in Toy Story 2, that all of the Buzz Lightyear toys are in, quote, hypersleep. So I think that the toys are
That's just so fun.
I think that the toys are activated when they're taken out of their box.
Okay.
So I think that maybe Andy's mum gave him Woody and he was mint in box.
I mean, maybe Woody was her original action figure because she
We'll talk about that in
Yeah.
Toy Story 2. I have things to say
We've
about
gone a
the
bit
mum.
off topic, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
But I think that this must take place in the universe of The Incredibles, because I think that Buzz Lightyear is a real superhero in that universe, and he is a toy of that superhero.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Because, but Woody specifically says that you're not the real Buzz Lightyear, meaning that there is one.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I think
okay, that's
that
interesting.
Buzz is a real superhero in the
Yeah.
universe.
This is actually no, I'll leave it for Toy Story 3.
Okay.
One of my points: Buzz is not a real toy. We obviously
Yeah.
see this is a bit later in the film, but the TV commercial where he realizes he's one
Yes.
of millions of Buzz Lightyears.
Yes.
But like that, as you say, they have to be based on something.
Yeah.
So that could be very well what it is.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about the falling with style scene?
I love it.
How is Buzz so arrogant that he thinks he's flying though?
To that, I think he's just ignorant to
And
the fact that he's not a
everyone's just
toy.
watching him like fly around on a plane, and they're like, "Oh my god, he's sensational."
He's better than Woody.
Bo is like, "I want him as my moving buddy." Like, she's just so attracted to him for that.
I really like the toy soldiers. I just really like them. Really
Yeah,
interesting characters.
Yeah, because they are clearly like an elite group.
Mhm.
I think it's fun to see them take on like a cool militaristic approach. Um,
Does it ever sort of confuse you? This isn't a criticism, but it's just wondering that Woody is like a toy from the 1950s, and other toys that from the 90s haven't why is Andy playing with a toy from the late 50s? Like, he should be playing with Action Man and stuff. Like, how is Woody still holding up even in Toy Story 4? Like, how are children able to find sort of, I don't know how to word this, but find pleasure in playing with a toy from the late 1950s? Like, cowboys we're not in the 90s, and they're certainly not in 2019.
you think?
I don't think, no,
I don't remember what kind of toys I played with. I wasn't a huge toy guy. Were you? I was more Legos.
More Legos, yeah. But that leads me on to another thing that, I would really like to see Woody meets another Woody, or Buzz meets. Obviously, we see Buzz meets another Buzz in Toy Story 2.
Yes.
But I'd like to see if Woody meets another version of himself.
But I think that's the point, that he is such an exclusive toy. That's why he's so special.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that in Toy Story 2,
Okay.
because that's kind of the point of that film.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good montage.
Yeah.
And I really like the scene where you see the transition between.
That was my point. Yeah.
Where you see the transition between Andy's room from cowboys to space
That was
rangers.
my point. I have a note. Andy's snap decision is realistic. I think it's very easy for a child. I speak from experience that phases.
Yeah.
I went from a phase of dinosaurs to
Yeah.
superheroes and stuff.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I like this as an example, and then Legos to video games or
Yes.
whatever. I think that's really realistic, and that's probably one of the highest praises I can give the film. That I know Andy will always
Yeah.
love Woody the most, but what?
Well, I have a note saying Andy is a disloyal bitch. I think Andy is the worst.
Why?
He is so disloyal. He claims to love Woody, and instantly he loves Buzz. I was never like that, because I had phases, but I always had my favorite toy,
Okay.
and I was never disloyal to my toys. This movie kind of made me worried, to treat my toys better.
Me too.
It kind of made me feel guilty, and show them as much attention as they needed. Do you feel bad for Woody, because he's kind of made out to be almost the antagonistic character of the toy group, because he hates Buzz? I think it's justifiable that he would feel kind of betrayed and abandoned.
I sympathise with Woody because all the toys just turn on him.
Yeah. And
That's
then
sad.
they just assume that he's murdered Buzz because Buzz fell out a window.
I like the scene where he's lost his arm. he's
just waving it out the window.
No, it's the scene where it's a slow-mo shot. There's just Buzz lying with one arm. There's
Yeah, we will talk about that. I don't think that Buzz deserved to be treated like that, but I don't think that Woody deserved the antagonism from the rest of the toys.
No, definitely not.
I just wanted to go on to talk about Sid. It's rare that you see a child as a villain.
I really feel sorry for Sid.
Do you?
I mean,
his parents aren't around.
No,
they clearly don't care about him.
His parents aren't around. He doesn't know that the toys have life. He doesn't know that they live. So from his perspective, he's just a child.
Blowing up a piece of plastic.
Yeah, he's just being curious,
I mean,
all children have messed about with. I don't mean this in a weird way, but all children have messed about with their toys.
Yeah.
You
You've stripped a couple Barbies naked, have you?
I did have an Action Man figure, which I just wanted to see what it was like. It was one of those US US Armed Forces action man. But do you know what I mean? He doesn't kill a man. He's not
but he is quite sadistic.
He's wearing a Punisher t-shirt.
Yeah, when he blows things up, his cackle, he takes too much enjoyment from it. Yeah. Where are his parents? They just don't care about
Sid's
it.
animation does not hold up.
No,
sorry.
Sid is the worst animation by far,
Yeah.
and the animation of people really improves by Toy Story 4. It looks so good. We will. Yeah, if you want to hear more about our thoughts on that, do listen to the Toy Story 4 episode.
My thoughts with Sid, he's not a bad kid because he's going to Pizza Planet by himself as well. He's no friends.
You seem like skateboarding home alone. His parents don't love him. No one loves him.
But that's a big spike.
Yeah.
No, I mean I feel bad for him because he's obviously characterized in the film as the villain by him wearing a t-shirt with a skull on it.
Yeah.
And all the it's a very horror-esque depiction of his toys.
Yes, I have that down as well.
There's a baby's head on like a
Like
mechanical
on spider legs.
Spider legs.
Yeah,
there's like a
that's
frog.
terrifying.
There's like a frog on
with
a skateboard or something.
Yes, and there's a slightly inappropriate joke with a
like
pair of legs with a
rod.
hook. Perhaps a hooker, you could say. That is the joke.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about the scene where Buzz realizes he is a toy? Do you find it emotional or hilarious, as I do?
Mix of both. Also,
I don't find the concept hilarious. The concept is sad, but the scene where you see him like falling down from the stairs and he's just like screaming for help, that's hilarious.
Like in that scene, he's in Sid's house.
Yes.
If I'm right. You see his father, and he's an alcoholic. No, I mean, no, I don't mean it.
Way to dig deep.
No, there's like 12 beer cans.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And the directors themselves have said that the symbolism was there as well.
That his parents probably just are bad
that's
people.
That's another sad element, and his sister's lovely.
Oh, his sister's delightful, yes, and I would like to talk about that right now. My favorite part of the film is Buzz as Mrs. Nesbit. Like he's just wearing an apron and a hat, and it is so hilarious. Like Buzz goes insane, and one quote I wrote down was, "Tell me that the hat looked good." Like it's just so hilarious.
Woody tries to
Woody tries to snap him out.
And he's like, "Hello." It's great.
Yes. Were there any thoughts about that before we get on to sort of the final part of the film?
I mean, I just think Buzz is great in this film. He's probably my favourite character in the film. Apart from Woody.
I would probably agree. Oh no, I think... See...
This is a Buzz film.
I think Woody probably deserves more sympathy, but I think I prefer Buzz as a character.
One thing I've sort of learned about the Toy Story franchise, Toy Story 1 is a Buzz movie, Toy Story 2 is a Jessie film.
Well...
Toy Story 3 is the group,
and
then Toy Story 4 is Woody.
Toy Story 4 is very much Woody.
Like it's not a Toy Story film, in my opinion.
No.
It is a Woody film.
Yes.
You know, well, we'll get into it later. But no, do you want to sort of mention the horror-esque ending?
Yes, it did. Is this where the toys break the rules and they turn on Sid?
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely traumatizing for Sid, isn't it?
Woody's got like a match or something burned into his head? No.
Yes, Woody had like sunlight burnt into his skull.
He like turns his head around. He's like, oh, what's the quote? He says something like, "We see every."
Yeah. That is terrifying.
It is terrifying.
I think that would really mess Sid up.
It's actually shown later in Toy Story 3 as a bin man.
Yeah, I had that down to talk about that. But yeah, I'm sure that was absolutely devastating.
Yeah, he probably did deserve it, to be fair.
Maybe.
He's not an evil kid. I don't think he's a 10-year-old kid just
being
curious. Fair enough. Like, I don't know what Amazon store is giving him, like, explosives.
He's like, is my package here? I'm like, why are you getting post? Like,
yeah, I love the way he's, like, such a sad kid. He sets alarm clocks to, like...
to blow things up. I had it down to ask you, this film ends with a chase sequence. Do you think that's kind of weird for this tone of film?
Very much so,
because it's a kid's film, but it ends with a chase sequence? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, I thought that was a bit odd.
Chase sequence, to be fair.
You do?
Yeah.
Did you have any final thoughts on the film? That's all I really had noted down.
Just the horror-esque ending, which is fantastic. This is definitely it's probably my second favourite.
It's probably my third favourite of the four. It's
a fantastic film. Do you have any concluding points in this?
No, I've pretty much said my piece. I think it's a great film. It definitely stands up, which is surprising. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did upon rewatching it. I watched it just yesterday again, and I was surprised that I still enjoyed it.
Really?
I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10.
I'd give it a 9.
You would?
I really like this film.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to Toy Story 2. Came out 1999, also directed by John Lasseter. Do you have any beginning points?
So this film, what does it open with again? Was it the Barrel of Monkey? No, it's not the Barrel of Monkey.
No, it is. Well, Andy's going away to cowboy camp, and he accidentally tears Woody's arm.
What's the
tiny bit, and I wrote once again, Andy is a disloyal bitch because
I can't use him.
Yeah, he tears Woody's arm like one tiny bit, and he's like, he's useless to me. He is nothing, and I'm like, Andy, you're awful. I hate you.
Like Woody tries his best, even for that penguin who's like losing his voice.
Squeaks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that the bit where like it's yard sale day
yes,
or something?
yes.
And then
And Al steals him. What kind of piece of shit steals a toy from
I
a
love the way
child?
it's like a special case to put him in as well. In his
Yeah.
car. It's great.
Do you remember you found out that Woody had a black and white TV show, Woody's Roundup? And while I was watching the film, it kind of made me nostalgic because it reminded me of Batman 1966
Okay.
with kind of the to be continued endings.
Okay.
And yeah, that kind of made me that kind of made me reminisce about my childhood a bit.
I sort of like the idea that Woody was like the most popular toy in his day.
Yeah.
And now he's not, and then it's Buzz now.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad parallel between like on how times change.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did find it very interesting. That Woody clearly is very valuable, so he's special, and maybe that's why Andy loves him so much.
Yeah.
Well, claims to love him.
Oh, he does. He does.
No, Andy treats him like shit.
One of my favorite aspects of this film is the Zurg subversion.
Yes.
So
the father-son
the
element.
opening scene like scared me as a kid because
Yeah.
I thought like Buzz had died. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a weird scene, like Zurg just like kills him and
Yeah,
like,
he
it's
just
just his legs.
blows off half his torso. Yeah. And then it turns out it's Rex playing the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that is a very good subversion.
And it turns out
I just wanted to mention Al is a weird creep, which is accurate, right?
Yeah.
He's just gross. There's a scene where he's like eating a bag of Cheetos, and he's just like licking off, like lapping it off his fingers. I'm like, you filthy pig. Like I hate Al so much.
one of my favorite scenes involving Al is when Woody gets fixed and then
Yes.
like, the
I was
old
going to
man-
ask you about this because a lot of people find this scene, the scene with the old cleaner, one of the most satisfying film scenes.
It is.
Because
it's really
you know
good.
he paints
Over Andy.
he paints
Oh.
over Andy, and you know
The
he
metaphor
fixes
there.
all his blemishes. Yeah, that hidden meaning of he's no longer Andy's.
Mhm.
Oh, it's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Al's Toy Barn looks like a fun place to be.
It does. It's massive.
Yeah, like there's like spaceship full of bouncy balls like that.
Yeah, and then
That's
all the Barbies.
yeah. Ooh, it just looks like a fun time.
all the Barbies.
Yay!
Then
Like Mr. Potato Head's like I'm a married spud.
and then Buzz finds alternate versions of himself.
Yeah. What I was gonna say was the gang saw the Buzz Lightyear aisle, and yet they still confused that fake Buzz for the real one. I'm like, there's hundreds of them around. Why wouldn't you second guess that?
Also, doesn't the fake Buzz have a
He
utility
has a
belt?
utility belt. I was gonna ask you, Woody is kind of being guilted by Jessie because she's saying, "Oh, I don't want to go back into storage. You're our only hope." I don't think that Woody should feel any moral responsibility to help Jessie out, but he does. Like he decides to go to the museum with them. What are your thoughts?
I just think it's in it's his character to help other
Yeah.
toys.
But I don't. He doesn't owe her anything, and I'm surprised that he agreed to that because he loves Andy so much.
One of the saddest scenes in the franchise is Jessie's sad,
Abandonment. Yeah.
sad abandonment. It's a really depressing moment. And the
The
songs.
music is brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like.
That's also
when
like
she loved me. It's so brutal.
like the metaphor there. It's not really a metaphor, even, but I suppose it is.
Yeah.
But sort of parallels Woody, as in she's being left behind with
Yes,
the times.
yeah.
Like her child was
Yeah.
becoming more interested in makeup and things like that.
Yeah.
It's really sad. It's depressing. You
It
know?
is. I thought when I first saw it that Jessie had just been like left in the forest, but I realized upon rewatching that like she'd been given away, like in a like she'd been given the goodwill, as
Yeah.
the Americans love to call it. I wanted to get your thoughts on the theory that Andy's mum is Emily. Have you heard this?
I've heard that.
So
I like it.
for anyone who doesn't know, you know, we see in the first film Andy has the red Jessie hat, and we find out in Toy Story 2 his mum refers to Woody as an old family toy. So the theory suggests that she was a big fan of Woody's Roundup, and she had the Woody doll, the Jessie doll, and that she gave Woody to Andy and abandoned Jessie.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that theory?
I think that makes sense, to be honest, and I really like
Yeah.
I just like it. It's a really good theory, and it ties it all back together very nicely.
It's probably one of my favorite film theories.
Definitely.
I don't know if it's true, but I really want it to be,
Me
and
too.
I don't think
Do they look similar? I can't remember in the flashback.
you never see Emily's face.
Okay, but the hair is it
But
similar
it's
colour?
mostly the hair and the cowboy kind of nostalgia
Maybe
for
because I'd really like that.
I would really like that. I really liked the foreshadowing of the prospector says to Woody, "Do you really think Andy's going to take you to college?" So I thought that was good foreshadowing
Yeah.
for Toy Story 3, in that he actually did decide to take
Do
Woody.
you like the Prospector?
Well, no.
No.
I mean, like, in what way?
Just, do you think he's an interesting villain? Or the subversion that it's not really Al, it's
Yeah, I was
Prospector?
surprised by that as a child. I wanted to see. Do you think as a child you saw it coming? I don't think I did.
No. Like, Al's, like, he's a bit of a weirdo.
Oh, he's a weirdo, and
But-
he steals Woody from a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Prospector,
Like,
his main goal is to, what is it, to get famous again? Or to be, I think they're going to Tokyo to get sold or something
Yeah.
for millions?
yeah, they're going to Tokyo to be displayed in a museum.
Okay.
But
okay.
they only want the complete set, so if Woody leaves, that they all go back into storage. So he stops Woody from leaving. He's not necessarily evil. I mean, he is the villain of the film, but he's the closest thing to a villain in the film. But
Yeah.
he's not even evil
Mhm.
because I mean he's selfish, but like he's looking out for himself, which is something that you can't necessarily judge. I mean, upon this rewatch, I could obviously see it coming. Well, because I knew it was going to happen, but also you can see
Yeah.
that he's manipulative from the start.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he says to Woody when he's initially leaving, "Oh, why don't you just go speak to Jessie and make amends?" And then she tells her story,
Yeah.
and that
Do you think
that's
Jesse
what
told
spurs him on.
the Prospector her story?
Well, yeah, because they'd been in storage for decades together, I believe.
Mhm.
So I think that he was manipulating that from the start. I wanted to talk about. Do you want to talk about the Buzz Zurg dynamic?
Yeah, so does Buzz think Zurg's his father?
Well, it turns out that I mean this is obviously a big Star Wars parallel.
Yeah.
It's the Luke Vader
There
dynamic.
even is a line.
Well, yes.
You're my father.
Yeah,
Or I.
Zurg says, "I am your father." So I assume that just in that universe, whether Buzz Lightyear is a real superhero, whether it's fictional lore, yes, it is the same
I'd
Star
like
Wars
if Zurg
dynamic.
was a villain in that universe.
Hmm?
I'd like if Zurg was a villain in that universe.
Actually, like, do you mean a real villain?
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the Incredibles sort of Buzz theory.
Yeah, that would be cool. Also, I would have liked to see Zurg is never a villain in any of these films. That's weird,
He's
isn't
just
it?
alluded to, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's Buzz's arch nemesis, but he's never actually the main villain of any of the
Is he
any of
even
the
in
four
Toy
films.
Story 3?
No, he's well, he's in the epilogue. Like he gets given to Sunnyside Daycare.
Oh, okay.
So
So in Toy Story 2, how does Zurg end again? It's been a while since I've seen Toy Story 2.
Toy Story 2.
Yeah, how does the plot with Zurg end? Does Zurg go
Uh,
off with his Buzz son?
He goes with him and the fake Buzz decide to develop their father-son relationship, and you
Okay.
see them like playing tennis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I want to talk about the prospector's fate. He is put in a little girl's backpack, and
Yeah.
a Barbie turns around and she's like, "You'll like Amy. She's an artist."
And then she turns
Yeah,
on her
she's
fist on
terrifying.
makeup.
Yeah.
I like that.
Do you think he deserved that? Because I mean, in the end, he was looking out for himself, which I don't know if you can judge him for that.
I think he probably. I don't know.
I don't think he deserved that
Maybe not.
because he's probably going to be like destroyed after a couple weeks.
I have just a concluding note. Not as
Yeah.
good as the first, but still looking back, like what we've discussed, it's still a great movie.
Yeah, they're about on par for me.
Yeah.
I just had a couple things to say.
Yeah. Shoot.
This film ends with another chase sequence,
Yeah.
which
the
is
plane.
the plane chase sequence, and it feels even weirder in this film because it doesn't really seem to have a place.
Feels like a Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I think this film could have ended like 10 minutes earlier if they just cut out that final chase. If the ending of the film was them giving away the prospector,
Maybe.
then
yeah.
they'd foiled the villain and that's all that really mattered. But then Jesse like gets put on a plane accidentally.
What are your opinions on the toys coming to rescue Woody and he denies them? He wants to stay with Jessie.
I don't think that's realistic because Woody's clearly altruistic, like he cares about other toys and other people, but I think he loves Andy more than anyone else, and it seemed out of character to me.
How do you think that works? Like, do you think in this universe the toy's first child is what they're programmed for? So
I think he just really closely bonded with Andy, and Andy loved him so much. But yeah, I think you always remember your first child, I guess, in this universe.
yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
But I mean, obviously they can go on to other owners, as we see.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say, Andy's mum is never suspicious of where the new toys came from.
Yeah, she's just like, well, they're here.
Yeah, because like Andy thinks that his mum gave them to him, and then where does she think they came from? Like he's just playing with Jessie, and she's like, "What?"
Does Andy have a dad? Obviously he has a dad, but is he not in the picture?
He's never in the films.
Maybe that's a dynamic with him and Sid, that maybe it was intentional. Like
they're both kind of unparented.
Yeah, like lack of a father figure, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps, and then one went positively, one went negatively.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about some of the adult jokes.
Okay.
There was one in particular which is quite famous. At the end of the film, Jesse also falls with style using the race car track, and Buzz's wings pop up.
Yeah.
Do you think you got that as a child?
No.
I absolutely don't think I did. I mean, I obviously get it now, as an older person.
Yeah.
But did you? When did you last watch this film?
Oh, like years ago. Maybe
years ago?
5 years ago, maybe.
Do you think you got it? Do you think you understood it then?
Probably not. Probably didn't look that much into it.
Yeah. So as we know, this is popularly known as the better film, but we would disagree probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it an 8. Still pretty good.
I mean, I'd give the first one an 8, and I'd give this also an 8. I think they're pretty much on par for me.
Yeah.
Plot wise, I think this one is weaker, because I think there's less character development in this one. I think they actually develop, like usually you see character development more in a sequel, but I think having the transition from Buzz and Woody from like nemesis to best friends was actually a bigger character development than anything in this film. So
nothing really happens.
No.
Really?
A common trend in these films is pretty much nothing happens in them. They're quite uneventful, but
Apart from 3.
they're still all a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Those are all my thoughts. Did you have any?
Not really. Just go on to 3.
Yep, sure. So, Toy Story 3, from 2010. They switched up directors this time. Lee Unkrich. Unkrich. I've never seen another of his films.
I think this film's the best animated movie ever made. One of them.
Really?
One of them. Top 3, easily.
Wow.
For me.
What would you put it on par with?
Monsters Inc. maybe.
I've never seen it.
I put it up there with the 1999 Tarzan is amazing.
Okay,
I love
I've
that
never
film.
seen it.
And also, I'd say, I'd maybe put it up there with. I'm a sucker for Monsters University. I really love that film.
Oh, I saw that. It was trash.
But loads of people hate it. I first, it's one of my favorites. But
okay, so you really like this film.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this film. I find the music to be less notable.
Oh yeah.
Which for a Toy Story film or for a Pixar film in general, I find kind of poor form, because that's kind of what they're famous for. I mean, Toy Story 1 and 2 had such spectacular music, and then I was quite disappointed by this.
Opening scene with the subversion, the train sequence is not actually real.
Yeah.
It's the first really sort of insight we've got into Andy's imagination.
Yes.
Which I like.
How he plays.
Yeah, I really like that.
As I said, I'm a big fan of a montage.
Yeah.
They do a time lapse of Andy's life going from probably like age 8-ish to 17. I obviously enjoyed that because I love me a montage. It's a nice way of showing, you know, that how much he appreciated his toys. Well, allegedly.
When does a boy stop playing with his toys?
I don't know, because I never really had toys, so I had soft toys, but I didn't really have, you know, action figures as such. So I didn't stop playing with them.
One
just never did.
aspect I can admire is the realism of being left behind, and how like Andy gets to an age where, you know, he's 17.
Yeah.
He doesn't play with toys anymore, and you know that leads me on to my question: like, do the toys die if they're not being played with? Probably not.
I don't think so. No, I think they have to be physically destroyed.
Okay.
But yeah. So I want to talk a bit about Buzz and Jessie. You mentioned them, like the subversion that they're actually meant to be together rather than. Well, I say that, but I mean we see like a light exploration of their relationship. You know, there's a bit of flirting, but in the years between Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4, nothing really forms of it.
Apart from Spanish Buzz.
Yes. Do you want to talk about Spanish Buzz?
Yeah, great. Muy bien.
I remember it as being a bigger part of the plot. I rewatched Toy Story 3 today, and it's quite an insignificant plot point.
It is.
Spanish Buzz.
One thing I just wanted to mention, and when Andy moves to uni, we see his notice board on the wall, and there's a postcard from Carl Fredricksen from Up.
Yes.
I really like. So that indicates
it's good detail, yeah.
They know each other and stuff.
Yeah, that they're in the same universe.
Yeah.
I thought Michael Keaton as Ken was one of the best parts of the film.
That's my favorite character of the franchise. I love his dream house.
Yeah, Ken's dream house. Yeah, like Barbie is tricking him. Like
Barbie's a great addition.
Yeah,
as well.
she's trying to like delay. She's what is
Trick him, delay him.
she's trying to be a diversion.
Oh, okay.
And she's
The German language.
like the last minute.
Okay.
When Barbie acts as a diversion to get Ken to dress up in all his outfits, I thought that was hilarious. Just seeing her reactions of clapping.
It doesn't actually sound like Michael Keaton. Like I watched it back. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know whether Michael Keaton doesn't have that distinguishable voice, but
I think it's the
I didn't know it was Michael Keaton.
a lot of the times they ask
ago.
celebrities to put on a different voice, and I'm like, well, if you want them to have a different voice, why hire that actor?
Yeah.
Like, you just want a big name on the project, but you don't want their voice. That doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, his voice was a bit toned down, but I can still recognize it was Keaton.
What do you think of Lotso and the daycare toys? And they're like the mini like mafia style like kingpin control over the. That
I
did
love
reminded
it.
me of like Daredevil Kingpin. Like
Yeah.
Lotso has control of everything in the daycare.
I love Lotso so much. He is my favorite villain of all four of the films.
Strawberries.
He is excellent, in my opinion. His backstory is actually more heartbreaking, I think, than Jesse's, because Jesse was given away, but he was left behind and then replaced, which I think is actually more heartbreaking.
Realistic, I think.
Yeah, it is realistic because the daughter probably didn't notice, and they keep saying, "Oh, Daisy replaced us." No, Daisy replaced you. I mean, it was probably her mum. Her mum was probably like, "We found him. Here he is." But yeah, like I think that's a more depressing backstory than Jesse's.
I feel bad for the toys that the toys that are made for like 5-year-olds, like Big Baby.
Yeah.
Like, they would be disposed quick, and the child would have
Yeah.
no memories of them.
Yeah.
Like like Big Baby would obviously have been disposed at the age of like what 7 maybe.
Well, Big Baby was amongst Lotso and
so,
Chuckles.
Chuckles.
Uh,
I love the way his name's Chuckles, and there's like a really.
he's
sad
just
shot
so
of him.
depressed. Yeah, that is funny. I think.
One of my favorite characters is the little telephone.
Oh yeah, and he's like,
he
they
gets
broke
beaten
me.
up.
Yeah, he just gets beaten the shit out of him.
How does Lotso beat up? He's just a big plushy toy.
I don't know how any of them have like strength, because like you see Bo Peep doing like acrobatics and stuff, but she's made of porcelain, but like she doesn't break. It was nice to see Woody happy with Bonnie when he gets lost at the daycare and she picks him up.
Yeah.
It was nice to see him happy. Another dirty joke, where Mr. Potato Head says, "No one takes my wife's mouth but me." That's such a weird. It was such a weird line. I mean, I saw this. I don't know that I've seen this film since 2010, so I just was watching that like, what? Like, why would you say that?
On the subject of the Potato Heads, like Mrs. Potato Head and her lost eye is important for some reason.
Yeah, that's a massive plot
I
point
know.
that she can see into Andy's bedroom.
I know.
But I suppose that makes sense that
Yeah.
all their parts are part of them, so they work independently, so she can see through that eye,
Yeah.
even from a distance. I suppose that makes sense. What about Big Baby's betrayal? I thought it was
like he throws Lotso into the trash.
Lotso into the trash.
I
Yeah.
really like Big Baby. I feel so sorry for Big Baby.
I think Big Baby obviously can't speak, but I think creates a lot of pathos
And tension. Like he's supposed to be like the scary character of the film.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of the spider-legged baby head from Toy
I
Story
think that's
1.
it. Like it was the same head of the Big Baby toy.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was intentional, but it kind of the Big Baby character kind of did have the same like horror tension of that character. I wanted to talk to you about the furnace scene where the toys accept death.
Yeah.
They actually save Lotso, and then he betrays them.
And he becomes like a friend of a bin man.
Yeah, but what was your reaction to that as a child?
When I was one of my like most treasured.
One of my happiest memories was hoping they would die.
No, one of my most treasured memories is when me, my mum, and my nanny went to the cinema to see this.
Yes, you've told me
And
about this.
we were crying, and it was
Yeah.
really emotional. It's one of my favorite memories, just because we were so invested in the film and the franchise in general.
That's nice.
And Lotso's a dick.
Yeah.
And then like, what sort of bin man has like plushy toys in the front
Like
of the
strapped to his grill. Yeah, it was weird. And you wanted to talk about the claw.
Yeah,
Did
did you see that coming? No.
I didn't see that coming, and it's a really good instance of like a callback to the first film, obviously. Yeah, I think that's excellent. Did you?
We
What were your
didn't
thoughts
talk
on
about
it?
Toy Story 1, but like Sid lets the dog have the alien, the dog just like tears it to shreds.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, heartbreak sacrifice is subverted, and I love the scene where like they're all linking arms. Then
Yes.
it's just Woody and he looking at the furnace and stuff.
Yeah, it's,
really
it's brutal, isn't it?
It is brutal.
So yeah, I think that they have to be destroyed to die, and I think that would have obviously that would have killed them.
I think in that scene, Woody cemented himself as one of the top 10 cinematic characters of all time.
Really?
I honestly think like Woody's
Okay.
like Woody's gonna be sort of. I'm trying to think of like a similarity. I haven't seen The Godfather, but I'd imagine a character from The Godfather is like treasured by people who have watched The Godfather.
Well, yeah.
Like children in 40 years are gonna remember tell their kids about like
Woody?
but no, but like how amazing the Toy Story trilogy was.
Maybe, yeah.
I think it's going to be looked up to that esteem, and the Woody character is going to be cemented as one of the, favorite characters of the time. Similar to my opinion of like the MCU. Like I think the MCU is going to be looked back on as the Star Wars of its time.
Yeah, that's fair, great point. I had just a few final points. The trifecta of Andy being a disloyal bitch.
What did he do this time?
He gives his toys away.
No, yeah, to Bonnie.
Yeah, to Bonnie.
I think that's adorable.
No, it's a nice thing to do, but he's being disloyal to the toys.
But I think he knows he doesn't know.
I've never thrown away a toy. Like either they went missing or my parents like threw them away. Like
I didn't.
Yeah, I
saw them in the bin.
I was never disloyal to my toys.
I really like that scene though when Andy's talking about how great Woody's been to him. It's really sad.
I fast forwarded that when I watched it today. I was like, Andy doesn't deserve my ears.
Do you get that Andy, a 17-year-old Andy, looks similar to a 10-year-old Andy?
No.
No, he doesn't at all, does he?
Also, he looks like 24. Like he doesn't look like a 17-year-old.
No, do you think it's the same voice actor?
No, it's not.
Oh, they probably could have done that.
Yeah, I mean it was like 12 years after.
Yeah.
I like Bonnie more than Andy. Which is controversial because everyone's like, "Oh my God, Andy gave his toys away to Bonnie, and Bonnie is like a little bitch." And I'm like,
I really like Bonnie.
I really like Bonnie.
Bonnie's
Like she
adorable.
seems to actually love her toys, unlike someone.
I really like the new additions, like
You do?
the dinosaurs and the hedgehog and the doll.
Yeah. Oh, I especially like the British Hedgehog.
British hedgehog's great. Yeah.
He is great when they're like when he's just asking Woody, "Are you a classically trained actor?" Like, you're like. Because, they do a lot of improv.
What happens with Michael Keaton, I'll say Ken and Barbie? How does that end again? Do they remain with Bonnie? Or do they go off together?
I think they...
They weren't in Toy Story 4.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say they weren't in Toy
They
Story
were in Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I think they... they decided to stay together, but I was sure that they went with Bonnie. I would have thought so.
Yeah.
But I suppose not.
Oh no, I remember. I think Ken asked her to stay in the dream house with him in the daycare. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
But then,
Fair enough.
I was quite sad. They were my two favorite characters in the film.
I loved Ken so much. Yeah.
Ken was great. I would have loved to see Ken in Toy Story 4.
Yeah, he would have been amazing. I find this to be a greatly satisfying ending.
Absolutely.
I would have much preferred this to be the ending of the franchise than Toy Story 4.
That's my point. Like, is a fourth movie needed?
It definitely wasn't. I think.
No.
I think it comes full circle with it going from, Andy to Bonnie, and then the idea that they'll have a whole slew of adventures after that. The thought of that is enough. You don't need a film
Toy
to show
Story 4
that.
kind of ruins my opinion of it a little bit, just because the ending for that, and just in case people haven't seen our review or the movie in general here,
We won't spoil anything.
but it's just the ending. It's not solidifying for me. There's so many different options, whereas the ending Toy Story 3...
It's so definitive, and then you can just imagine what would have happened after.
The more I think about it, this isn't in relation to Toy Story 3, I mean it is kind of, but the fact that a toy's life is always... It's not going to end in happiness. Like, everything comes to an end, and obviously Bonnie's going to grow up as well, so you think that's just I think that's just a vicious circle of child to the next child.
Yeah,
and
it's a vicious circle, and I just wish they'd stopped showing it. I just wish that Toy Story 3 had been the end of
That's
it.
what I mean, like, there's going to be a time when, like, a few kids down the line, like, Woody's not going to be looked as in the same light, because that's a toy from the 1950s.
Yeah.
Like, in 2050, no one's going to be playing with a Woody or a Buzz,
Yeah.
No one it's the same thing nowadays, like, no one plays with... Well,
So do you think they'll be willingly jumping into the furnace in a few years?
Yeah! Like, the aliens are like the claw, they're just like, not now, we need to jump into the fire.
Yeah.
No, I just love this franchise. It's such a set of movies, and I know I've pointed out criticisms,
Yeah.
but honestly they're minor and they're nitpicks,
Yeah.
and
Do you want to conclude on number 3 with a score?
10.
I'd give it.
Masterpiece. Honestly, I love it.
I'd probably give it a 9. I think it is my favorite of the 3, which is changed.
A great achievement considering it was a risk. This movie.
Yeah, and it was so long after.
Yeah.
It was 11 years the gap, and they did such a great job, and they just developed the characters, had an excellent villain, and I mean, I think it is controversial to say that because I don't think anyone else really holds that opinion. I think most people are dead set on number 2 as the best, but I would say number 3.
Number 3's all of them are
excellent.
great. All of them have their merits and their strengths.
Yes.
But I don't really have anything else to say, to be honest. Do you have any theories about anything?
No.
No.
But so you love the series as a whole. I do
yeah,
also.
Yeah.
We hope you guys do. We hope you liked the episode.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, comment, especially the subscribe. The other things don't really matter. Just the subscribe.
No, we really do appreciate all your likes and your views. Honestly.
Yes.
We really enjoy making these, and
Yeah.
take care.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, check out our Toy Story 4 review.
Yeah.
Maybe listen to this one first. I mean, if you're at the end of this, you either have or haven't. But
listen to it again.
Listen to it again. You know, we need the views. But yeah, so thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
Listen to our back catalogue. Again, we need the views. Recommend to a friend. We need the subscribers. We love you. Goodbye.
Buy our t-shirts. We don't have t-shirts.
We don't have any yet.
No, but